Hi, my name is Jess Paul, and I play Shayla in Shepard. I graduated from West Virginia Wesleyan in 2012, and when I came back home, I immediately started to audition and look for roles in Pittsburgh film. And Shayla definitely stood out. She was kind of dark and very emotional, but at the same time, she was funny and more interesting than a lot of characters I had been seeing about. And she also reminded me of a character that I'd written when I was practicing screenwriting previously in college, but I wasn't going to be doing that production anytime soon, so I thought maybe get to know this character, and I actually feel like I could be her friend. I got to know her a lot and in playing her, and enjoy playing her. Shayla and I are both alike and different in a lot of different ways. But most of all, I think that we're similar in our wardrobe. It was pretty easy to contribute to her clothing style because it was mostly comprised of my college closet, all the band tees and the dark clothes and the streaks of color. I think we're most different though, because though we're both very expressive, she, I think, likes to blame and take a lot of her anger out on people. And usually when I get upset or angry about something, I go off and I try to figure it out. And though that's a flaw in itself, it was kind of hard for me to embrace that ideology. And eventually I did, and it's a part of her that I had to embrace. When people ask about rec radio, it's usually the same story. And it starts off that I was bored. It's a terrible way to start off something that was so important in my life. But it was my freshman year of college, and I didn't know many people. I was too young to go out and drink, and I didn't have a television. But I did have this laptop, which for the first time it was a computer that was all my own, and I started to discover music. And I learned about the YouTube community, which was more than videos about cats and people jumping off of trampolines in their pool. People were creating series and characters from their own bedrooms, and I thought, well, why can't I do that? It got big when I had created the show about music and comedy, and then when labels and artists finally started to contact me instead of me like trying to contact them to come on my show, that was really amazing. And I thought maybe they're finally viewing me as a professional. I'm actually a player in this industry, and that was a really big deal to me. Running a series had everything to do with my acting career interest. When I was 12, I mean, that's how long ago I wanted to start acting, but when I went into college, I basically gave up on the idea of acting because I wasn't going to LA anytime soon. It was just a pipe dream. But when I started working on rec radio and people all over the world were excited to see the episodes every single week, I thought, well, maybe people would also like to see me in the fiction and the cinema that I originally wanted to do. So it branched off. I met people who were doing the same thing, making their own material, having small crews and going around Pittsburgh and doing this. And I realized it was possible. And the rest is history. The coolest thing that happened out of rec radio is the people that I definitely got to meet. I started the show basing it off of a genre of music and certain bands. And then a couple years later, I actually met those people. For example, the first interview I had was with Third Eye Blind, and that was a band I'd listened to since I was like 11, since they had started. Teddy Geiger, William Beckett of the Academy, as they helped me grow up. And in retrospect, actually, it was only the first time that I would sit down and think about it after maybe a couple weeks of having done that and say, I had a casual conversation with these people that I kind of considered my heroes. And I sat next to them and I joked with them and I learned a little bit about them face to face. I couldn't have asked for a better reward than that. I love that. I love that question. I think that Shayla would have a very different taste of music than mine. I think her kind of music would stress me out and put me on edge, be very screamo and metalcore. I think she'd like to talk to people like Slayer and Slipknot and Megadeth. I think a band that we both might like to talk to would be someone like Marilyn Manson, who's quite a showman and pretty reckless, who have a lot of style, but they're very, hardcore. So I think she'd be a good interviewer. I think she'd lap it all up, because I think that Shayla likes music too. Just not the same type of music as me. I would love to see Shayla be happy. I think right now she is in a place where she's the antagonist to some of the characters. She's kind of the bad guy, or at least she's got her own issues, and I love her issues, but I also think that I would love to see her find a friend or find an interest that she can connect with and be a human being with, and we can see a softer side of her. I just really want her to find a little bit more happiness. I've had lots of memorable moments with Shepard. I think a lot of them stem from the shoots that we've had, the filming days, and from my recent memory, one of my favorite ones was filming in this gazebo in this picnic area, and it was pouring down rain. In between, after, during, it was a puddle by the time we were doing this choreographed fight between me and Allison. It was very intense, and by the end of it, I just really felt Shayla's her annoyance because my shoes were waterlogged. But that day, I felt the cast was on top of their game, and so was the crew. Everybody just did such a good job, and I cannot wait to see that scene. When it comes to Pittsburgh Film, I've actually not only been invited to perform in more things, but also I've been behind the scenes a lot, because directors and producers have learned what I can do as far as makeup design and art design. So I've been on lots of sets, but kind of behind the camera. As far as acting goes, The Immaculate Reception is a short film that's in post-production and should be on the festival circuit soon. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited to see that. And I'm in pre-production with a lot of much smaller pieces, meeting new people and young filmmakers, and just trying to help them out and get new characters out of it. So that's also very exciting. I'm meeting new people and discovering new things about my own kind of interests every single day. Thank you so much for talking to me. I hope that you enjoy Shepard as much as I do, and Shayla as much as I do. So thank you. Goodbye.